Success doesn't happen by accident. Let's start with a truth you already know, but might need to hear again. Success doesn't happen by accident. If you want a better life, you have to work on a better you every single day. You have a choice: stay the same or level up. And here's the thing. The way you start your morning sets the tone for your entire day and ultimately your life. Think about it. If you wake up rushing, already late, scrambling just to get out the door, guess what? You just put yourself in reactive mode. You're not in control. You're playing catch up from the very first moment. And if your days begin in panic and chaos, how can you expect success to follow? Winners don't roll out of bed. They rise with purpose. They don't let the day happen to them. They happen to the day. So, what's the first thing you do when you wake up? If it's grabbing your phone, scrolling through social media, or complaining about how tired you are, you're starting your day on someone else's terms. You're not waking up to exist. You're waking up to make moves. If you want to improve, you need a morning routine that fuels your mind and body. It doesn't have to be extreme. You don't need to wake up at 4 a.m. like a Navy SEAL, but it does need intention. Prayer, meditation, a workout, reading, or even just sitting in silence and planning your day. These are the things that tell your mind, we're in charge today. Excuses like, I'm not a morning person, won't cut it. Success isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. If you're always rushing, skipping breakfast, and feeling like life is controlling you, how can you expect to control your success? Successful people don't leave their days to chance. They design them. Your morning is your foundation. It's where you get your mind right, your body moving, and your focus sharp before the world even wakes up. You don't need a fancy routine, just one that gives you clarity, energy, and direction. Start small. Wake up 15 minutes earlier. Stop hitting snooze. Replace mindless scrolling with something that moves you forward. Because here's the truth. If you don't take control of your mornings, you're letting life control you. And that's no way to build the life you truly want. Success is an accident. It's a choice you make every single day, starting the moment you open your eyes. Your past is a lesson, not a life sentence. Too many people are stuck in reverse, replaying their mistakes, failures, and regrets like a broken record. But here's the hard truth. The more you focus on your past, the more it controls your future. Your past is meant to be a lesson, not a life sentence. You can't drive forward while staring in the rearview mirror. If all you do is dwell on what went wrong, you'll never see the opportunities right in front of you. Think about this. Everyone has failed. Everyone has fallen. Everyone has moments they wish they could erase. But what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck is simple. Winners learn from their past and then let it go. They don't sit in their regrets, drowning in self-pity. They don't let old failures convince them that new risks aren't worth taking. Instead, they tell themselves, I failed before, but I'm smarter now. I'm stronger now. And I won't make the same mistake twice. Holding on to past pain is like carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go. It slows you down, wears you out, and makes the journey harder than it needs to be. Forgive yourself. Take the lesson, leave the pain, and move forward. You can't start a new chapter if you keep rereading the old ones. Your past is over, but your future is still unwritten, waiting for you to show up, take control, and own what's next. The reason some people never move forward is because they refuse to drop the baggage that's weighing them down. They let yesterday's failures define tomorrow's possibilities. But here's the truth. You are not defined by what happened to you. You are defined by what you do with it. The past doesn't dictate your future unless you let it. So stop reliving what's already gone. Stop letting old wounds keep you from new victories. Your best days aren't behind you. They're ahead of you. But you'll never reach them if you don't stop looking back. It's time to make a choice. Stay chained to what was, or break free and build what can be. The moment you decide your past won't control your future is the moment you take your first real step toward success. The road ahead isn't about where you've been. It's about where you're going. And if you're brave enough to let go, you'll find that the best is yet to come. Fear is the price you pay for a better life. Let's talk about the silent dream killer. Fear. It's not lack of talent, bad luck, or even circumstances that hold most people back. It's fear. Fear of failure. Fear of embarrassment. Fear of what people might say. Fear of stepping into the unknown and realizing you're not good enough. But here's the truth you need to hear. Everything you want in life, everything worth having, everything that will make your heart race with excitement and fulfillment lies on the other side of fear. Successful people aren't fearless. They just refuse to let fear make their decisions for them. They feel the same doubts, the same hesitation, the same voice whispering, "What if you fail?" But they take action anyway, because they know fear isn't a stop sign. It's a test to see how badly you really want it. The problem is, most people wait until they feel ready before they take the first step. But here's the secret. You'll never feel ready. Not truly. Not in that way where all the doubts vanish and confidence roars like a lion. Real confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you build by proving to yourself over and over that fear doesn't get to win. Every day, do one thing that scares you. Speak up when you normally stay quiet. Raise your hand for the opportunity that makes your stomach twist. Introduce yourself to someone who intimidates you. Say yes before you feel prepared. The more you do this, the more you'll realize fear isn't a wall. It's a doorway. And on the other side, growth, strength, a version of yourself you wouldn't recognize right now because they're braver, bolder, and more alive than you've ever allowed yourself to be. Fear never fully disappears, but it does get quieter. It loses its power over you the moment you stop running and start facing head-on. So stop waiting for courage to magically appear. Courage is what happens when you're terrified, but you move forward anyway. Fear isn't your enemy. It's the price of admission for a life that's extraordinary. And let me tell you something. It's a price worth paying. Every single time. Your mind is a garden. What are you planting in it? Every single day, you wake up and feed your body without even thinking about it. You eat breakfast, maybe drink some coffee, grab lunch when hunger strikes. You understand that what you put into your body affects how you feel and function. But here's what most people completely ignore. Your mind needs feeding too, and what you're feeding it right now is shaping your entire life. Think about that for a second. While you're careful about putting healthy food in your body, you might be poisoning your mind daily with negativity, mindless scrolling, gossip, and toxic entertainment, then wondering why you feel stuck, uninspired, and like success is always just out of reach. Your mind is like the most fertile garden in the world, and whatever seeds you plant in it will grow. Plant seeds of doubt, fear, and negativity. That's exactly what will take root and flourish in your life. But plant seeds of wisdom, knowledge, and relentless positivity. Suddenly you'll start seeing opportunities everywhere. Ideas will flow to you, and doors will open that you never even noticed before. The problem is most people don't realize they're slowly poisoning their own potential. They wake up and immediately dive into social media's highlight reels that make them feel inadequate. They consume endless bad news that leaves them feeling helpless. They engage in small-minded conversations that do nothing but reinforce limitations. Then they wonder why their life isn't changing. If you're serious about transforming your life, you need to become ruthless about what you allow into your mind. This means reading books that challenge you instead of watching another mindless TV show. It means listening to podcasts that inspire growth rather than gossip-filled nonsense. It means following people who push you to think bigger instead of those who drag you into their drama. Knowledge is everywhere, free for the taking. Yet most people would rather spend hours consuming empty entertainment than invest 30 minutes in something that could actually change their trajectory. Ask yourself right now, what have I fed my mind today? Was it junk food or fuel for greatness? The most successful people in the world understand this fundamental truth. Learning doesn't stop when school ends. They're constantly reading, asking questions, seeking mentors, and surround themselves with people who challenge them to think bigger. They know that every piece of knowledge, every new idea, every inspiring story is another tool in their arsenal for success. Meanwhile, the average person hasn't read a book since graduation and spends their free time numbing their mind instead of expanding it. Here's the brutal reality. What you allow into your mind will either push you forward or hold you back. There is no neutral ground. Every piece of content you consume, every conversation you engage in, Every environment you place yourself in is either building you up or tearing you down. So starting today, conduct an audit of your mental diet. What are you listening to during your commute? What kind of conversations dominate your lunch breaks? What fills your screen time before bed? If the answer isn't something that's making you smarter, stronger, or more prepared for success, you're not just wasting time. You're actively working against your own potential. The choice is yours. Keep feeding your mind poison and wonder why you're not growing, or start nourishing it with the kind of content that turns ordinary people into extraordinary success stories. Remember this: your mind is your most powerful asset. Treat it like the sacred ground where your future is being built. Because that's exactly what it is. The people around you are elevating or draining you. Choose wisely. Let's talk about the silent force shaping your life more powerfully than any book, any motivational speech, any self-help strategy. The people you surround yourself with every single day. This isn't just about friendship or companionship. This is about the undeniable truth that you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Their mindset, their habits, their ambitions, or lack thereof, are seeping into your subconscious, whether you realize it or not, slowly shaping your standards, your beliefs, and ultimately, your destiny. Think about your inner circle right now. Are these people challenging you to grow or comforting you to stay the same? Are they lighting fires under you with their ambition or pouring water on your dreams with their doubts? When you share your goals, do their eyes light up with excitement, or do they immediately list all the reasons why it might not work? Here's the hard truth. If the people around you aren't making you better, they're making you worse. There is no neutral when it comes to influence. Every interaction either lifts you up or weighs you down. And if you're surrounded by people who are complacent, negative, or stuck in their own limitations, they will unconsciously, or sometimes very consciously, pull you back to their level every time you try to rise. This isn't about abandoning people or being ruthless. It's about recognizing that your environment is either fertilizing your growth or poisoning your potential. That coworker who constantly complains, that friend who always has an excuse for why they can't improve their life, that family member who shoots down every ambitious idea, they aren't just sharing opinions. They're programming your mind to accept limitations you weren't born with. Meanwhile, imagine what would happen if you surrounded yourself with people who wake up hungry, who talk about ideas instead of other people, who see challenges as opportunities rather than roadblocks. Suddenly, what seemed impossible starts feeling attainable because you're constantly seeing living proof that more is possible. The most successful people in any field understand this at a bone-deep level. They create ecosystems of excellence around them. Athletes train with other elite athletes. Entrepreneurs build mastermind groups with other driven founders. Artists collaborate with other boundary-pushing creatives. They know that greatness isn't cultivated in isolation. It's nurtured in environments where everyone is pushing each other to level up. Meanwhile, most people stay stuck in social circles that reinforce their fears rather than fuel their fire, then wonder why their life isn't changing. Here's what you need to do starting today. Take inventory of your relationships with clear eyes and courageous honesty. Some people are seasonal. They were right for a chapter of your life, but don't fit where you're going. Some relationships need boundaries. You can care about someone without letting their limitations become yours. And some people you need to actively seek out. Mentors who walk the path ahead of you, peers who challenge you to be better, friends who won't let you settle for less than you're capable of. This isn't about being elitist. It's about being intentional. You wouldn't train for the Olympics at a fast food restaurant. So why would you try to build an extraordinary life surrounded by ordinary influences? The uncomfortable truth is that your current circle is perfectly designed to produce your current results. If you want different results, you need different influences. This might mean having hard conversations. It might mean spending more time alone until you find your tribe. It will definitely mean outgrowing relationships that no longer serve your growth. But here's what's on the other side. A support system that doesn't just cheer for your dreams but challenges you to achieve them. Relationships that don't just accept who you are but inspire who you could become. And an environment that doesn't just tolerate your potential but demands its full expression. The choice is yours. Stay comfortable in relationships that keep you small, or have the courage to surround yourself with people who remind you how powerful you truly are. Your future self will thank you for it. Surround yourself with those who lift you higher. Let's cut through the noise and address one of the most powerful yet overlooked forces shaping your destiny: the people you allow into your inner circle. This isn't about friendship. This is about the undeniable law of human influence. You will either rise to the level of those around you or sink to meet their standards. There is no in-between. The conversations you have, the energy you absorb, the beliefs you normalize, they're all silently programming your mindset, your habits, and ultimately your future. Take a hard look at the 5 people you spend the most time with, because their ambitions, their mindset, and their daily rituals are infecting you like a virus, either propelling you toward greatness or anchoring you to mediocrity. Are these people pushing you to grow? Or are they subtly or not so subtly talking you out of your dreams? When you share your goals, do they light up with excitement and hold you accountable? Or do they flood you with reasons why it's too risky or now isn't the right time? Here's the brutal truth. If the people around you aren't making you better, they're making you worse. Every moment you spend with complainers, you're absorbing their victim mentality. Every coffee date with someone who's stuck in their comfort zone, you're subconsciously accepting their limitations as your own. This isn't about dropping people. It's about recognizing that your environment is either fertilizing your growth or poisoning your potential. That coworker who gossips instead of grinding, that friend who's always waiting for the right moment to start their life, that family member who mocks ambition and calls it unrealistic, they aren't just sharing opinions. They're conditioning you to accept a life smaller than the one you're capable of living. Meanwhile, imagine what would happen if you surrounded yourself with people who wake up on fire, who speak in terms of solutions instead of excuses, who see setbacks as setups for comebacks. Suddenly, your dreams don't seem so far-fetched because you're constantly immersed in proof that more is possible. Elite performers understand this at their core. World-class athletes train with other champions. Visionary entrepreneurs build mastermind groups with other disruptors. Artists collaborate with those who challenge their creativity. They don't leave their growth to chance. They deliberately construct ecosystems of excellence around them. Meanwhile, most people stay trapped in social circles that reinforce their fears rather than fuel their fire, then wonder why they're stuck in the same place year after year. Here's your wake-up call. Starting today, you must audit your inner circle with ruthless honesty. Some relationships are seasonal. They serve you in the past but don't align with where you're going. Some need boundaries. You can love someone without letting their limitations become yours. And some people you must actively seek out. Mentors who walk the path before you. Peers who challenge you to raise your standards. Friends who refuse to let you play small. This isn't about being heartless. It's about being intentional. You wouldn't train for a marathon in flip-flops. So why would you try to build an extraordinary life surrounded by people wearing mental flip-flops? The uncomfortable reality is this. Your current circle is a perfect reflection of your current life. If you want more success, more growth, more fulfillment, you need to surround yourself with those who demand more from themselves and, by extension, from you. This might mean outgrowing relationships. It might mean spending more time alone until you find your tribe. It will absolutely mean having uncomfortable conversations. But on the other side, a support system that doesn't just clap for your dreams, but challenges you to make them reality. Relationships that don't just accept who you are, but push you to become who you're meant to be. An environment that doesn't just tolerate your potential, but demands its full expression. Your circle determines your altitude. So ask yourself, are the people around you helping you soar, or are they clipping your wings? The choice is yours, and your future depends on it. Surround yourself with those who force you to level up, and watch how quickly your life transforms. The right people won't just support your journey. They'll make sure you don't walk it alone. Find them, cherish them, and never settle for anything less. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. Let's destroy one of the most dangerous myths right now, the idea that you need to feel motivated to take action. This lie has kept more people stuck than any failure ever could. Wake up! Motivation is unreliable, fleeting, and utterly useless when it comes to real, sustained success. Motivation is that friend who shows up when things are easy, but disappears the moment things get tough. Discipline? Discipline is the warrior that stands guard when no one else will, that keeps you moving forward when every fiber of your being wants to quit. If you're waiting to feel inspired before you work on your goals, you've already lost. Winners don't wait for motivation. They build discipline, because discipline is the unshakable foundation that turns dreams into reality. Think about the most successful people you admire. Do you think they wake up every single day bursting with energy and enthusiasm? Absolutely not. There are days they're tired, days they're discouraged, days they'd rather stay in bed than face the grind. But here's the difference. They show up anyway. They don't negotiate with themselves. They don't wait for some magical burst of inspiration. They've made a non-negotiable commitment to their goals, and they honor that commitment no matter how they feel in the moment. That's the power of discipline. It doesn't care about your feelings. It cares about your standards. It's the iron will that drags you out of bed at 5 a.m. when your brain is screaming for more sleep. It's the unrelenting force that keeps you working when distractions are pulling at you from every direction. It's the refusal to let temporary discomfort override permanent success. Here's the truth you need to tattoo on your mind. Discipline is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. At first, it's agonizing. Your brain will rebel. It will throw tantrums. It will invent 1,000 excuses why today should be the exception. But every time you push through that resistance, every time you do the hard thing anyway, you're strengthening your discipline muscle. And over time, what once felt impossible becomes your new normal. The workout you use to dread becomes non-negotiable. The work you use to procrastinate on gets done without hesitation. The goals that once felt out of reach become inevitable because you've trained yourself to show up consistently, regardless of how you feel. This is where most people fail. They start strong, fueled by excitement and motivation. But when the initial rush fades, when the work gets hard, when results don't come fast enough, they quit. They mistake the natural dip in motivation for a sign that they're on the wrong path. But here's the reality check. Everyone loses motivation. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is simple. The successful ones keep going despite it. They've built systems that don't rely on fleeting emotions. They've created routines that automate success. They've made discipline their default, not something they have to think about. So, how do you build this unshakable discipline? Start small, but start now. Make commitments to yourself and keep them, no exceptions. If you say you're going to wake up at 6 a.m., do it. If you commit to reading 10 pages a day, read them. Every time you follow through, you're proving to yourself that your word means something. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you're reinforcing weakness. And here's the most important part. Don't wait for the perfect moment to start. There is no perfect moment. There's only now. The more you wait for motivation, the more power you give to procrastination. The more you act despite how you feel, the more you reclaim control over your life. Discipline isn't glamorous. It won't get you viral on social media, but it will get you results. It will turn you into the kind of person who can be counted on by others, but most importantly, by yourself. And when you become that person, the one who does what they say they'll do, who shows up even when it's hard, who refuses to let temporary feelings dictate permanent outcomes, that's when everything changes. That's when you stop hoping for success and start creating it. That's when you realize you're no longer at the mercy of your emotions, but in command of your destiny. Motivation is a fair weather friend. Discipline is your loyal soldier. Choose wisely. Excuses are the nails that build the prison of mediocrity. Let's address the silent killer of dreams, the toxic habit that masquerades as reason, but is really just cowardice in disguise. Making excuses. Every time you utter the words, I can't because, or it's not the right time, or if only I had, you are not just speaking, you are constructing bars around your own potential 1 week justification at a time. Excuses don't protect you, they imprison you. They don't solve problems, they perpetuate them. And worst of all, they don't just delay your success, they erase it entirely, because while you're busy explaining why you can't, someone else out there is proving that you could have. Think about the last time you told yourself you couldn't do something. Was it really true? Or was it just fear dressed up as logic? The brutal reality is that excuses are nothing more than lies we tell ourselves to avoid discomfort, to dodge responsibility, to stay small and safe in our comfort zones. I don't have time. Then wake up earlier. I don't have the money. Then get creative and start smaller. I'm not ready. You will never feel ready. Success comes to those who start before they're perfect. Every single excuse you make is a surrender, a white flag wave before the battle has even begun. And the tragedy? The only person you're cheating is yourself. Here's the cold, hard truth. Life doesn't care about your excuses. The world doesn't stop because you're not prepared. The competition doesn't pause because you're scared. Time doesn't slow down because you're waiting for the right moment. The right moment doesn't exist. There's only now, and what you do with it defines your future. Excuses are the language of the mediocre, the anthem of those who would rather explain why they failed than endure the temporary struggle required to succeed. But you were meant for more than that. You were meant to rise, to fight, to refuse to let your own words become the chains that hold you back. The moment you stop making excuses is the moment you take back your power. It's the moment you shift from being a victim of circumstances to the architect of your destiny. Because here's what happens when you drop the excuses. Suddenly, you find time where there's none. You discover resources you didn't realize you had. You tap into creativity and resilience you didn't know you possessed. Why? Because excuses are illusions. They're stories we tell ourselves to avoid facing the truth that we're capable of far more than we've allowed ourselves to believe. So how do you break free? First, you must become brutally honest with yourself. Every time you hear an excuse forming in your mind, call it out for what it is. Fear in disguise. Second, replace excuses with action. I don't have time becomes, how can I make time? I'm not good enough becomes, what can I do to get better? Third, surround yourself with people who won't tolerate your excuses. People who will call you out, challenge you, and remind you of your own strength when you forget. The most successful people in the world aren't lucky. They aren't privileged. They're just people who refuse to make excuses. They looked obstacles in the face and said, I'll find a way. They encountered setbacks and said, I'll try again. They felt fear and said, I'll do it anyway. That's the mindset that changes everything. That's the mindset that turns dreams into reality. So ask yourself right now, what excuses have I been making? What stories have I been telling myself to avoid doing the hard work? And most importantly, what would happen if I stopped making them? The answer is simple. You'd be unstoppable. You'd start making progress where you've only seen stagnation. You'd start achieving what you've only dreamed of. Because excuses are the enemy of progress. And the moment you stop making them is the moment you start winning. The choice is yours. Will you continue to build your prison, one excuse at a time? Or will you break free, take responsibility, and claim the life you were meant to live? Stop explaining why you can't. Start proving why you can. The world isn't waiting for your excuses. It's waiting for your greatness. Step up,